Hello and welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribe. First, the headlines. Nigeria's economy no longer dependent on oil revenues. Kyari. NNPC set to build pipelines to deliver gas to Europe. Nigeria's grown as price of cooking gas skyrockets weekly. And now, the news in detail. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited, Malam Mele Kyari, yesterday said the Nigerian economy had weaned itself off total dependence on oil revenues, as was the case in the past. Addressing the Atlantic Council Global Energy Forum in Abu Dhabi virtually, Kyari stated that presently the contribution of the sector to the country's gross domestic product (GDP) was just 9%, while stressing the need to give Africa special consideration in the movement away from fossil fuels. He maintained that Nigeria was not ready for electronic vehicles (EVs) as it is currently dealing with basic issues of power supply. Kyari informed that while Nigeria believes in the net zero drive and has already committed to it, it would continue to build on its gas infrastructure as a buffer before the achievement of the net zero target in 2060. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited on Monday said it was currently working on building pipelines that would deliver gas from Nigeria to Europe. NNPC's Group Managing Director Malam Mele Kyari disclosed this while speaking virtually at the Atlantic Council Global Energy Forum. He stated that Nigeria was moving away from dirtier fuel to cleaner energy, adding that gas had been picked by the federal government as Nigeria's transition fuel. He said, "What we are doing is some kind of replacement such that we move from dirtier fuel to cleaner fuel, which is gas, and what we had to do is to build enormous gas infrastructure required to ensure that there is sufficient supply of gas into the domestic market and provide some for the international market." He added, "Therefore, we are trying to see how we can build a network of pipeline infrastructure that will deliver gas and potentially to jump into Europe through Morocco or Algeria." The forum was hosted by the United Arab Emirates. Liquefied natural gas (LPG) prices are now on a weekly increase following the fall of Naira against the United States dollar and rise in global oil prices. As a result, marketers under the aegis of the Liquefied Petroleum Gas Retailers branch of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers on Monday decried the unending rise, regretting that prices are being determined by market forces. Newpeng LPG Retailers Branch Chairman Chika Umudu said in the past 2 weeks, the cost of 12.5 kg LPG has increased by about 300 naira. About 2 weeks ago, marketers of the commodity raised an alarm in a statement issued by the union over the continued rise in the price of cooking gas. They had urged the government to intervene, considering the energy crisis in Nigeria as seen in the drop in power supply and prolonged petrol scarcity. When asked on Monday if the cost of the commodity was stabilizing, Moody replied, "The price has continued to increase between the time we issued the press statement and now. The 12.5 kg gas has increased between 200 naira and 300 naira. At least 13 oil companies in Mozambique have delivered bids for the prospection and exploration of hydrocarbons in response to the 6th licensing round for exploration and production concessions launched by the Mozambican government. Radio Mozambique reports that giant companies such as ExxonMobil and Total Energies have delivered bids, as have the Russian companies Rosneft and Novatek. The Russian bids are unlikely to be considered as serious contenders following the strict sanctions imposed by the United States and European countries in response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Other oil giants that have put in bids include Italian Eni, Sinopec, CNOOC, Qatar Petroleum, the South African petrochemical company Sasso, amongst others. The Mozambique National Petroleum Institute has stated that the assessment of the bids and the shortlist of selected companies will be made public by Thursday. Germany has made significant progress towards reducing its imports of Russian gas, oil and coal since Russia invaded Ukraine, Economy Minister Robert Habeck said recently. Germany is trying to wean itself off Russian energy in the wake of the Ukraine crisis, but this is an uphill battle after decades of relying on Russia for energy supplies. Habeck said imports from Russian oil now accounted for 25% of German imports, down from 35% before the invasion, and gas imports have been cut to 40% from 55%. Russian hard coal imports were down to 25% from 50% before the invasion. Habeck said achieving the goal would require enormous efforts by government, states, companies and customers. He said utilities were working hard to tackle the decade of reliance on Russian pipelines. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced a minimum share capital of 10 billion naira, a non-refundable application fee of 100,000 naira, and a non-refundable licensing fee of 1 million naira, among other requirements for registration of an institution to function as a credit guarantee company. The Apex Bank announced the requirements in a new guideline for regulation and supervision of credit guarantee companies in Nigeria. The guideline, released on Monday on its website, was signed by CBN's Director, Financial Policy and Regulatory Department, Mohammed Hamisu Musa. The CBN, as part of its efforts to stimulate lending to micro, small and medium enterprises, facilitated the development of guidelines for the establishment of operation of credit guarantee companies in Nigeria. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our headlines. Nigeria's economy no longer dependent on oil revenues. Kyari. NNPC set to build pipeline to deliver gas to Europe. Nigerians groan as price of cooking gas skyrockets weekly. And that's the news. I am Naomi Oleribe. Good evening.